Alright, so this is a review, reaction, whatever you want to call it. As usual, I do lessons from these type of things, innit? From BKCHAT London, season 5, episode 4. Get me? Basically, before we get into the question, let's just look at the oh shit, give me a second. Maybe fuck up my phone and shit. Um, yeah, so the title is um you're more likely to get and you're more likely to get American influencers to respond. All right. So the synopsis of it is on episode 4, the cast talk about American influencers versus UK influencers and how much access one has to them. Yeah. So that is, I mean, we'll get into it. All right. So let's just first get the question out of the way, as per usual. So the question is, how come I can talk to an American influencer with 500k plus followers, but I struggle to get a reply from a UK influencer with only 50k followers? Is the UK really bad vibes and bougie? So first of all, let's get the first question out the way, which is how come I can talk to an American influencer with 500k plus followers, but I struggle to get a reply from a UK influencer with only 50k followers? All right, so basically, look, the reality, unfortunately, is you need to stop placing. Um, yes, there are value in numbers. Yeah, the values in numbers, but as far as social media is concerned, get me. Don't worry about that shit. Focus on the simple fact of, get me. Do they resonate with what you're trying to we're trying to connect with them? Like, why? The question is, why are you connecting with them? Why do you want to connect with them? Are they gonna add, like, what value are they gonna add to your team, and what value are you gonna add to their team? Because most times, let's be real, yeah, most times, in fact, I don't want to generalize, but in some cases, what would happen is some people want to connect with people or network with people because that person they want to network with, they can add value to them, but they're not really realizing what they can actually bring to the table, what value they could bring. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, if someone was to come to me, yeah, obviously I don't have at this present moment the date of this video that I recorded, the next day of this video being uploaded. I don't know what date it is right now, but no, it's the 20th, in it. Yeah, the 20th of May. Raw, 20th of May. Like, and this will probably gonna be uploaded on the 21st of May. But like, um, yeah. So as far as if I was gonna add all the social media channels together, I probably got, not even probably, there's less than 100k followers, which is fine. I don't really, me, I don't care about those numbers. I care about the numbers in the bank account, in the business bank account. That's what I care about the most. Yeah, that's what I care about the most. So I'm not really concerned about those numbers. I'm not concerned about views. Obviously, yeah, it does what help to an extent when you got views where it does help pay you for, if, get me, YouTube partnership and that stuff. That's when it really does matter. But you still got to have the mindset of not giving a fuck. Yeah. But anyway, so if someone was to come to me and or let's do it that way around. If I was to go to any UK influencer, which I've done in the past, yeah, um, and I messaged them. Now, the thing is, I don't know if we can really say that they were influencer. I just saw the potential in them. See what I'm saying? And I thought, raw, okay, well, this makes sense. I'm gonna, you know what I mean, try and pattern this up. I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I'll be completely real with you, yeah. But I thought, let me message them. They heard me. Yeah, then they went on a live. I don't know how many days later, but they went on a live and on IG and stuff like that. And then it was like, because I didn't message them on IG, I emailed that person. You see what I'm saying? Yeah, from the business account. Yeah, and their perception seemed like it was for some like completely different. Which I don't understand why when everything was absolutely clear. Yeah, but anyway, to cut a long story short, they must have said something, and because they were, I think they were braiding, she was braiding someone's hair or whatever, or I can't remember what was happening. She was there with someone that was another kind of influencer, you're gonna call her that. And it's like, so I like, shit, what do I even do in this case? Because that's not what I'm trying to be perceived as. Do you see what I'm saying? So I thought, alright, boom, let me just exit out this thing, innit? You know what I mean? I was gonna, because I'm not the type of person to try to explain myself to nobody. Like, it is what it is. If you wanna perceive me the way you wanna perceive me, that's on you. Yeah, I know my truth. I know my intentions. But the problem is, I can understand why she would air man based on certain things. Do you see what I mean? Like, and this is the problem. Like, even in, I want to address the problem and then get into the video properly. But like, or get into what other cast members were saying. But it's like, it could be, I could assume and say, oh, well, maybe if I had this amount of followers and this amount of notoriety, Jamie, she would be on it. You know what I mean? Like, she wouldn't perceive me in that way because then she sees me, blah, blah, blah. Which is understandable if that is the case. If not, it is what it is. I don't really give a fuck, yeah? That's the mindset I move with. And that's the mindset that every person should move with, yeah? It's not giving a fuck. If you message someone and they air you, whether they're in the UK or wherever, then don't take it personal, innit? Do you know what I mean? Don't take it personal. Now, if they hold at you, or if someone else holds at you, do you know what I mean? Like, here's the other thing as well. Sometimes there is the case where they could literally be busy. Do you see what I mean? And sometimes they may not even see your message. Do you know what I mean? You know how much emails or messages that people get per day? Sometimes they don't even run their account. That's another thing. Sometimes they've got someone like their manager running their account. So they may not be seeing it. And they may, or their managers are seeing it, but they're realizing, nah, you know what? That person, we're gonna pre their account, just seeing it, boom, 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 not liking what I'm seeing, boom, 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 boom. You know what I mean? They don't think it makes sense. Do they are they in the right to? Would it make sense if they did reply back to the message and stuff like that? Possibly, yeah. But you can't say no to. You can't literally say no to a lot of people. It's just a waste of time. Sometimes you just have to take the L, take the air, and then the air you, fuck it. You know what I mean? And then when you do blow up, maybe they realize, shit, they did message before. You know what I mean? It's so mad. Like, I'll give you another example, yeah? And they was, because this thing is about Americans, isn't it? Yeah? American influencers versus UK influencers. The funny thing is, yeah, although in terms of career, you wouldn't really call T-Pain a American influencer, but technically, if you understand what the word influencer actually means, he is an influencer because if he basically influenced Future, yeah, there would be no Future without T-Pain, yeah. Anyway, so, and then if you look at what's going on now with the sound in America as far as hip hop is concerned, although it's now changing, you know, it is more or less like he birthed an era, like combined with him and Lil Wayne, they birthed the era. Get me? They birthed different type of artists. You know what I mean? Like I can hear it. You know what I mean? But anyway, let me get back on point. So basically, he replied back to a message on Instagram. He didn't realize because I think he was collaborating with someone. I forgot who it was because someone sent him a message. And this is another American artist, whoever, that sent him a message. And this is like probably like a year. I don't know how many months or years ago it was, but it was definitely a long time. And he finally got to it, yeah, because he understood how to use DMs and stuff like that. He finally got to it, and then he ended up working with that person. You see what I mean? Sometimes some people don't know how to use their DMs. Yeah, like let's just be fucking clear. You don't know, like. You don't know what's going on with that individual. Yeah, you may see them post, yeah, or you may see their posts, you may see their stories, and you're thinking it's like they know the basics. Do you know what I mean? They know the basics and they stick to the basics. But sometimes when it comes to the messages, you just don't know. I'm not trying to throw any excuse. You just have to understand the different reasons for why. You know what I mean? And also, you have to understand as well. Have you met like? Whoever asks this particular question or has this question in mind or has this feeling in mind, is it a thing where you have definitely 100% messaged every single UK influencer and they haven't messaged you back? Or and you've messaged every single American influencer and they have all messaged you back? If that's the case, then cool. Understandable, because that's been your experience. But one thing I always realize when it comes to anything in life, yeah, you have to play the law of averages. Yeah, the law of averages. It's a numbers game. The more people you message, yeah, at least let's just say if you message 10 people or 10 influencers in the UK, at least one of them are going to respond back. At least one of them. If you message, and all right, cool, fair enough, you may get a high ratio of Americans may be responding back, but sometimes they may not respond back. You just don't know. You just don't know. Maybe they had time that day, they were by their phone. Do you know what I'm saying? Like maybe like there's so many things you can think of, yeah? But anyway, um so the second part of the question is the UK really bad vibes and bougie? The answer to that question is no. Yeah? Let me tell you something. Again, this is another story from experience. Long story short, man went to what was it? No, yes, basically, it's not again to do with social media as well. Funny enough, like I remember I did this post. No, I reshared the post actually, but it was from one guy that I went to college with, innit? Or well, friend, but yeah. But anyway, well, college we went college together, innit? But anyway, long story short, yeah. You know what's mad? My mindset back then was like, because I was setting up something in it. You know what I mean? Like, this is like the pre stages of the Alkebulantrust, like the pre stages. And it's like, I was like, how comes people are supporting these motherfuckers, right? This was just my mentality back then. I was like, how are people supporting these motherfuckers? Yeah. And they're exploiting, do you know what I mean? They're exploiting Africa and stuff like that. Like these organizations, these charity organizations, blah blah blah. They're exploiting these organizations. I was so vexed. I was like, Jamie, I'm like I can't remember the full post I said, and then yeah, and then the guy I went to college with, yeah, he said he responded back on in the comments saying something like, if I can't remember the full thing verbatim, but I just remember it was in the lines of about your mentality. Do you know what I mean? And I just wasn't hearing it. I didn't understand. It's not like I didn't understand. Well, I didn't understand technically, but like I'm like, what the fuck, and I thought to myself, oh well, nobody wants to support me, blah blah. Like I just had a negative mindset. You know what I mean? And then yeah, so I don't know what happened to why or how my mentality changed. No, wrong. I know how my mentality changed. I know. Let me tell you how. I learned to man up. I learned how to develop myself further as a man. Yeah, I'm still in those stages of developing more as a man, right? And you know what happened? I started to realize the UK is not bad vibes. People do support you. Do you know what I mean? They may not support you in the way that you would like for them to support you, but if you continue being proactive on solving certain problems, eventually someone's going to support you. You see what I'm saying? Like, this another case, another great example of that is the fact of let's take for example the Alkebulan Trust in general, right? It's like, I it may not be where I want it to be at this present moment, which is understandable. Like, it's annoying, but I understand there's certain things I need to do. You know what I mean? I have to continue to prepare myself to ensure that it gets to achieve its mission statement. Now, because I'm not giving up on it, that's for damn sure. But I am going to, you know, reevaluate plans. You know what I mean? On how to get there. Yeah? Because sometimes you have to go through a different route. Because initially I had one route, and I thought, nah, I got to U-turn and do a different route. And then now I have to do a U-turn and do a different route. Yeah? But like, yeah, come on social media properly now as far as YouTube, posting more regular, you know what I mean? And I know you see that could be on trust and comment sections here and there. Trust me, it's all part of the plan. Yeah? Because one of the arts of Anyway, I won't even talk about that because then this is making it more about me and Alkebulantrust when it's not about that right now. This is about BKCHAT London season 5 episode 4. Alright, so yeah, so from experience in both situations to both of those questions, you know what I mean? Like it depends. Like the thing is, I don't think I've messaged American influencers. I don't even know any American influencers to be honest with you. I don't, which is mad. No deep it. Even anyway. But yeah, so and this is what I mean. You message people that make sense. Now onto the actual video itself. Alright, because I want to keep this kind of short and simple as well because time is pushing. Alright, so look. I think it's Monty. Yeah, she's the one who was wearing the blonde weave or wig or whatever it is. Like, and she said something that was very true. Yeah, she said that she said something along the lines of, no one's obliged to, you know what I mean? She basically mentioned no one's obliged to do anything. You know what I mean? They're not, and it's true. Unless there is a contract in place where you signed that you agree to do this and they agree to do that, then that's where it comes into play. But if there's no contract in place, they're not obliged to reply to you. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? So that's how it goes sometimes. And then also, Lonnie agreed that it was bad vibes, but is what it is. But she said something else as well about Americans, about people in the UK want to be like Americans, blah blah blah, but they're too whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, I don't think that's necessarily true. But then I don't know what she's seen in her life in it. So from my experience, I don't think that's true. And then Goddard Phillips, being the captain antagonist, mentions that when girls in the UK twerk whatever, it's sloppy, blah blah blah. You see, here's the problem with this as well, right? The problem is everyone has the right to their own opinion, yeah? But it's always going to be based on a standard that they have seen. Now, the standard that he may have seen is probably from Americans. Now, here's the thing about that. It's a thing of naturally, yeah, unfortunately, and I'm going to say because it is unfortunate, it's a thing where, how can I put it? So mainstream media as a whole, yeah, is dominated by American owners, yeah, dominated, yeah. Like the majority of the stuff is dominated by American owners, yeah. For Rupert Murdoch, which is funny but not funny, which is the irony of that is Rupert Murdoch also owns Sky. You know what I mean? I think he still owns Sky. I can't remember, but you know what I mean? So, and then he owns, you know what I mean? He owns other mainstream networks and newspapers. So he's controlling, yeah, mainstream media. He's controlling, your thoughts and reaction, your thoughts on certain topics. So, if for example, shows like, even though Mona Scott Young is a black woman, even though she presents show like Love and Hip Hop, you know what I mean? It's like with the characters that come on that show, you know what I mean? What was it? There was a bar from South P. It's for what album was it from? I think it's from the Living of Experience. I can't remember what song. And he says something about I can make women do dumb shit or something like that. I could make women do dumb shit like Mona Scott Young or make black people do dumb shit like Mona Scott Young or something like that. He said something on the line. I was like, what the fuck? That's fucking crazy. Yeah, so that's interesting. But yeah, so big up the Locks on that album, the Living of Experience. Make sure you go stream that album, buy that album. Get me? Salute the legends. Get me? But anyway, so back to this. Yeah, so you know what I mean? Like, so everything you're seeing, whether it is to do with black people or even white people as well, and even Asian people as well, you're predominantly seeing it from an American lens, yeah? that's American programming. Do you know what I mean? That's why somewhat, if you look at shows like Top Boy, for example, Americans are now gravitating towards that. Yeah? Do you see what I mean? They're gravitating towards that for a reason. Because they don't really see much British, let alone black British programming. They don't. They're in a bubble. Do you see what I mean? And this is what's so funny. It's like, whereas there is this American influencer versus UK influencer, do you think they give a fuck about UK influencers? I'm not saying they don't care about them. Don't get it twisted, because I don't know. But they're in a fucking bubble. They are in their own zone. They care about what they're doing, and they're reacting to what they're doing. They care. Listen. Anyway. Also, what I want to say about this video, before I get out of here, is basically there was something that Godfrey Phillips said which was very interesting to me. I was like, why did he say that? Because I'll guarantee you this is what's going to happen. Alright, so basically what he said was, what did he say? He said something about, not to, what's it, no offense, yeah, but Africans, when you say no offense, it means you're going to cause offense, and you don't want that whoever you're offending to be offended. Do you see what I'm saying? So imagine if people said, no offense, but, you know what I mean? I'm not going to say the word because, get me, a certain community loves to be extra sensitive, and, you know what I mean? Even if you're trying to make a point. But anyway, so that's my thing. It's like, he didn't need to say that. You know what I mean? Saying that he finds it like he can't work with Africans and stuff like that. First of all, if he was to do more research into his like heritage, into his bloodline, I guarantee you, yes, I guarantee you, he will find that he has African bloodline running down his veins. And I would like to see his reaction when he finds out. You see what I'm saying? And the fact that he mentioned that he can't work with Africans and stuff like that, or I'm like, this is how I know he is captain antagonist, because that's cap. He's on a show on BKCHAT London, yeah, that is created by an African, right? The predominant people on that show are African, right? Alright then, so let's deep that for a moment. And then on his channel recently, he was working with Emmanuel, and he's African, yeah? Well, you know what I mean? And then, I swear, he had Lani on his channel as well, and she's African too. Do you see what I'm saying? So, let's stop the cap. Yeah, let's just stop the cap. I know he's, like, this is the thing about these shows there. Sometimes you have to have these type of characters, these antagonists, but this whole Caribbeans versus Africans or Jamaicans versus Africans, it makes no sense because they're the same people. And what's so funny as well, if you look at, if he knows about the Rastafarian movement, because that's more in Jamaica and stuff like that, he would fucking know that Rastafarians, they care about their African roots. Do you see what I'm saying? I'm not saying he's a Rastafarian or anything, because I don't see that he had locks, and obviously sometimes some people are in the beginning stages, but at the same time, you know what I mean? But I'm not saying that every Jamaican should be Rastafarians, but the point I'm trying to make is you have to understand where you really come from. You see what I'm saying? Yeah? But anyway, before I get out of here, other than that, I don't think that the topic was all that in the first place. But there are lessons in this, and the lesson is not to give a fuck. Yeah, when you don't give a fuck, and even though you do want to work with that influencer or whatnot, and they don't respond back, cool, fuck it, moving to the next person. Yeah, if they just keep on moving on till someone else wants to work with you, to the point where you're gonna have people coming to you. It's always better when people come to you in the first place, anyway. Yeah, because that way things are a lot more easier and smoother. But either way, get me, do you? Yeah. Don't worry about numbers, all that stuff there. Focus on just being yourself, adding value. Know what value you bring. Oh shit, yeah, that was the other thing that the one good thing that Godfrey Phillips did say in this episode. Like he mentioned that the way the way he sees social media is like a portfolio. Do you see what I mean? So he knows what value he brings. So he gets certain people coming into his DMs and whatnot, like blue ticks, stuff like that. And you know what I mean? And he tries to build a relationship with them before actually working with them. You see what I'm saying? So that's the smartest thing he said throughout all episodes. It wasn't in one of them, but other than that, that's probably the smartest thing he said. Other than that, yeah, those are the lessons. Got anything else you want to react to next with a review on or whatever the case is? Leave that in the comment section below. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification because you never know the video you suggest might just be next.